Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. Several days ago, I uploaded a video focusing on Fed Chair Jerome Powell's testimony in Congress. You might remember. Last week, Powell said that he does, in fact, expect bank failures among small to mid-sized banks. He showed very little concern overall, which is shocking in and of itself. You would agree for the Fed chair to casually say, sure, there will be bank failures, so what? I posted that video over on my Substack for those of you who may be interested. Commenting on Powell's testimony, I mentioned that I saw two possible ways for the banking crisis to develop. Failed lenders will be consolidated into large banks, those so-called too big to fail banks such as JP Morgan or Bank of America, or taxpayers will bail some of them out while others will be allowed to close doors. Well, just a week later, it's become much clearer what the ultimate plan may be, and it's far more complex than appeared initially. Or you might think that this is just a coincidence. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it once you finish watching the video. A mysterious blank check company has emerged, and it is willing to buy failed US banks. Let me repeat that. A blank check company with unlimited capital at its disposal is willing to buy failed US banks. The banks that have not failed yet, but that will, the system knows. So they know that, more likely than not, a once-in-a-generation opportunity is about to open up for them to take advantage of. A blank check company, by the way, is effectively a special purpose acquisition entity that exists for the sole purpose of completing a business transaction, such as an acquisition of other companies. A blank check company has no operations of its own, by the way, so it's not truly a company, it's not a true business in a traditional sense of the word. It is a shell that's financed through private offerings. According to Financial Times, the blank check company Portico's Capital bets on further bank turmoil, and that is why they are seeking an approval from FDIC, the bank's top regulator, to take over collapsed lenders. I will remind you that in the United States, once a bank fails, the FDIC takes over its assets and liabilities, and eventually sells what's left to other regulated banks. That is the key. It sells it to other regulated banks with the idea that FDIC will still be able to monitor it, just under different management. Well, this time around, Portico's is a private company, and it is trying to buy banks that will collapse in the near future. Do you see the difference now? This is a genius plan, you have to agree. Print billions of dollars, inject that money into the economy, causing out-of-control inflation. Just sit there and watch, let it spiral out of control, then start hiking rates as fast and as aggressively as you possibly can, knowing full well that it will cause the cost of debt to skyrocket, resulting in smaller banks starting to struggle. And by the way, keep in mind that this mysterious blank check company seeking FDIC approval to buy failed lenders in the future is announcing its intentions right when the Fed let its bank term funding program, the lifeline for smaller banks, to expire. That is an interesting coincidence. Financial Times says that a group of Wall Street veterans is behind Portico's Capital. The bet on failed banks suggests Portico's sponsors see more trouble ahead for the sector a year after the failure of Silicon Valley Bank shook confidence in U.S. regional lenders. Reportedly, ex-top banking executives are running this blank check company. Financial Times says Leslie Lieberman, executive who got his start at former investment bank Drexel Burnham Lambert, worked on mergers and acquisitions at Kidder Peabody and bought banks in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis. One of the board members is formerly one of the highest-ranking U.S. executives at Swiss bank UBS before his departure in 2022. And in addition to that, Also in the group is a former top executive of Spanish bank BBVA and a board member since 2018 of the US government-backed mortgage insurance company Fannie Mae. The last part does worry me because it sounds as though there might be a conflict of interest. We have a board member of US government-backed company Fannie Mae and a blank check company top executive combined in the banking industry. Let me know what your take on this is in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Financial Times reported that Porticos, the blank check company, has been around for a while actually. Last year, for example, it won approval from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency to buy banks closed by the FDIC. Its so-called shelf charter is a workaround, says Financial Times, to traditional curbs on private investors. Lieberman's group was approved to run a bank holding company once Porticos actually buys a bank. As the Federal Reserve keeps interest rates higher for longer and we see smaller banks struggle with the cost of debt, and in addition to that, those smaller lenders hold the biggest portion of commercial real estate debt in the United States, we're likely to see a banking crisis unfold very, very soon. Since office buildings have been declining in value, some markets have already seen 40% declines. Last year, for example, a group of professors estimated that it could cause as many as 300 banks to fail over the course of next 2 years. Of course, if those estimates are anywhere close to being accurate, which I have to admit, it does appear that they are accurate, Porticos Capital will have many new investment options, while millions of bank depositors may face very difficult times. Comment below and let me know what you think of this. Maybe you think that this is just a coincidence, maybe you don't. Either way, I would love to hear your thoughts. As always, thank you very much for watching. Please show your support. It truly does go a long way. Give this video a thumbs up, consider sharing it, and subscribe both on Rumble and YouTube. I would love to have you back for my next one tomorrow. See you in my next one. Bye for now.